Good night, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to World League Esports. And this is WLE 10K. I'm William, and right next to me is Justin. And today we've had bangers of games and epic matches. I believe you saw the first two matches that went on between Berserkers and VYBN and OG and DMNK. So it's our turn to continue and have the last end of the night, ending off with VYBN Esports and Runshark, as the players are having a lot of okay, I'm gonna have a word with him soon. Don't talk on the lobby. That was a bit disturbing. Yeah, so we're gonna end it off. We're gonna take the baton and end the night off with some epic games right now. And Justin, what do we have today, dude?
Hey William, I hope you're doing well. In today's matchup, or tonight's matchup actually, it's no longer daytime, is VYBN Esports versus Runshark White. So VYBN Esports won their first game of today, this morning, against Berserkers with a 2-0 victory for them, ending both maps in a 7-3, 7-2 scoreline, which was really well done from them. They played exceptionally well on, I believe it was Clubhouse and Cafe, their matchups. So that was really well done from them. And Runshark, the last time they played, I'm not sure who it was against, but they lost their game 2-0. It was in the semi-finals or playoffs of the upper bracket. So now they will be facing against VYBN Esports in this semi-finals lower bracket. Going to be a very exciting game to watch.
It is indeed, and thank you to Olympus and Sunset and Kanye and Luther for the casting on those matches. And now, as long as we get the ready from the lobby and production, we'll be going into the first map of the night, as Justin said, which is Cafe Dostoevsky, one of my favorite maps. And that is a bit of a joke, if you can't tell. I do not like that map, but I don't know. It makes for some interesting gameplay. We've seen a lot. Actually, Justin and I casted a lot of Cafe this tournament, and we've seen a lot of strategies. We've debunked a lot of strategies and debunked a lot of plays, and hopefully we'll be seeing a different take. I don't think we've seen Runshark and VYBN on Cafe. I might be wrong.
Not together at all, but we have seen Runshark White on Cafe. I believe they did beat OG on Cafe the last time that they played in their playoffs games, which led them to the semi-finals. So we know somewhat of how Runshark like to play it. They play a very more passively aggressive, so they can be aggressive at times, other times they can be passive, but they know what they're doing on Cafe. Same goes for VYBN Esports. They played it earlier today. We saw how they played, and they played an exceptional game of Siege. So both teams coming now to Cafe, whereas they did play it before, and Clubhouse, and then Oregon as the decider. Runshark had a lot to, work with and really do their research on VYBN Esports. So we'll have to see who is better prepared for this matchup. But the first ban coming through on Cafe is Thatcher. So Thatcher's going to really support those defenders now while they are trying to defend the map, as it is a defender-sided map. So Thatcher not going to allow that Walder now to come through at all. And if we see the second ban of Capiteo from VYBN. So that's a very interesting ban coming out from them. Have not seen a lot of Capiteo being played at all in this tournament, or banned for that matter. So I guess they have a bit of a strat that they maybe want to play a Wamai, that they don't want the Capiteo, or I don't believe that will be an issue, but indeed it is a weird pick or ban for them.
In my opinion, and you mentioned Wamai, he's also banned out. And like I was saying, in my opinion, Capitao is one of the most underrated players in Siege. That man is a beast, and he has a lot of utility. I think just most players either cannot work with him or don't find them useful in their strats. But I've seen him get played very, very, very usefully in matches before. Mirror also banned out by a Runshark, I believe it was. So we're not going to be seeing Wamai, Mirror, Capitao, or Thatcher. This is going to be interesting, as I think Mirror's only useful in about 2 sites, which is, I believe, the top floor and bottom floor. But it depends what you're trying to do, right? If you're trying to be very specific in your strat, she can be very useful. But I see her being way more viable up top and in kitchen. But we see the lineup so far, with the site being a kitchen, as slowly mentioned. We do see a Rooney being switched over to Echo. Echo also another character that hasn't seen a lot of presence in this tournament because of the nerf he had. which the drone cannot go invisible anymore. So you kind of have to think about where you want to place them and how you want to place those drones and how you want to play them. But we'll see how effective he's going to be from Blackstone in this round.
Cafe looking like a really good, well, starting pick for Runshark. I believe it was VYBN's map pick. So they're going to come out here on the attack, and they do have a pretty interesting attacking lineup. They are bringing the Zero. We know how TFPO loves to play that Zero, and he's a pretty useful operator to pick because so much intel can be given from him just from those 4 cams. You can also waste Jaeger's ADSs if you want to throw in a nade from Kiever on the sledge. So he's a very good pick, and same for that Echo like you were speaking of, and as well here Delphox playing the Maestro as we saw last time. I wonder if he's using that AA12 again or if he will use the older. We'll have to see how that goes out. But the attack is coming out on the map. It looks like they're going to try and go for a top-down take, which is a more default or interesting take to take because you can then just really clear out the map, clear out those roamers. I believe Nevik and Vlad are going to be roaming on those 2 operators. It really does look like it. So we'll have to see how VYBN can really counter that and if their time management is on point this time to really get control of those areas in a swift manner.
Yeah, and they're going to be met with somebody on those red stairs. As there was somebody close by, but not to a detriment of any entry at all, as Wicked is scouting out the top floor in Red Hatch, and he's going to be looking at brown stairs, hopefully finding somebody rotating, but he did get a yellow ping, so he'll be staying there and looking for some sort of flank. Justin, just before we continue, we haven't done our tradition as to predictions. Who you going for and who's taking what? Predictions, and Nuvik takes out Wicked, but Kixie with a refrag onto Nuvik, and that is 1 man apiece. Blood has been drawn, and the action has begun. But back to our conversation.
So it's obviously an even scoreline now, so 4-4, so no cheating from any of us. So for this matchup, I really do think VYBN has what it takes to take this match. They have been playing really well. Not taking anything away from Runshark White, but I think I'm going to stick with VYBN to take this matchup or to take the map series for this game.
Sweet. So now I have a Runshark White at my side. And as I say that, he rips the C4 and wasteful, takes him out of the picture. And that is a man count lead for Runshark as they defend Kitchen. Seems like all the defenders have fallen back close to site. Just to anchor now as there's only 58 seconds left of the round. And now KWR is working on those train walls and engine walls, floors to be exact. So he'll be shifting most of the defense around out of position, and KWR getting another pick onto Vlad. He's out of the picture. That is a 3-man count apiece. Toxic Babes flying out already. 36 seconds left, so they will be useful at some point, but they're not that close for an execute just yet.
The smoke really going to put a problem here for TFPO as he tries to push down on White, but he does get spotted out by Kiever. Yeah, some shots getting traded, but Kiever losing a lot of HP. Now the smoke will be punched out, but he's playing close with the shotgun. The shot does come swinging through, but TFPO wins that gunfight, and there's a refrag there from Delphox, but Kiever getting the pick as well. Now leaving into a 2v1 situation. 10 seconds left on the clock. Blackstone here on the Echo. He's just going to be able to deny this plant. He does have the cam set up, but that's the problem. Kiever can't spot the drones, and there we go. Blackstone winning out the round for Runshark White. Just playing perfectly. I'm not sure where he was positioned, but just playing so passively, doing what he was supposed to do with those Echo drones, just waiting it out, waiting to the very last second. He had perfectly positioned drones to get that intel onto that default freezer plant, and he used it in his favor. So well done to him there to bring his team from that deficit into a round win.
Say what you will about the Echo, that's where he comes in useful, especially when you only have 10 seconds, 5 seconds left to plant the diffuser. That's when he reigns supreme, and that was a well-placed Echo drone there. I don't think they would have spotted it firsthand if they did spot it and they had a bit of time to. But nonetheless, it did come down to those last few seconds. Had an execute been made much earlier on, maybe it would have turned out a bit different, and maybe they would have been able to spot that Echo drone, but that wasn't the case. They wasted a lot of time trying to roam clear and get into position, and that didn't work to their favor. The site is being moved all the way up to a bar right now. So second round, Runshark 1-0 to Runshark, and VYBN Esports is trailing back with a 0. Still early games though, so maybe something might change later on.
Speaking of a change, as Runshark White now goes to their secondary site, which they will choose to go upstairs, and reinforcing these bottom red walls, so that's pretty interesting as well. They are bringing a warden and a castle, so a very interesting strat from them nonetheless. They do have that smoke as well for the delay and the maestro once again, so still keeping that bit of info gathering and just denial from their side. Same lineup coming out from VYBN Esports, but they will have to change up a bit if they want to really get control of this round. They do have to try and get control of piano if they want to execute from there, maybe get some presence onto white stairs, and definitely put pressure on that player playing in cigar shop. You can't let him play there freely, especially when there's 2 shields waiting for VYBN to get cleared out. So they really have to take initiative to get rid of those objectives.
And Wicked swiftly dispatching that shield and exposing whoever's playing in Pixel right now. I think they've only expended 1 ADS to protect that shield, and it didn't work to their favor, unless there were 2 ADSs and then were quickly drawn out. But Greedy with a disgusting shot onto Wicked, dispatching her off of that window and making it a little harder for VKixie to approach that situation. No trade at all so far, no trade potential, as they are still stuck outside and nowhere near inside the building while they're working on the hatches. And as I say, that Tearpeel is already on red stairs, so he's going to be contesting them very soon. Blackstone gets a pick of his own onto Wasteful, and the Warden is waiting. I think he has a shotgun. I might be wrong. No, he doesn't. He has the MPX still. So he's waiting for them to push onto red stairs, and kills again flying left, right, and center from Runshark as they eliminate Kixie. They are struggling right now. All players of Runshark are well poised and well positioned to take out any players from VYBN that are approaching in. And we see there Kiever getting a kill onto Greedy, and Nuvek returns fire onto Kiever as well. But Runshark is way too much for VYBN right now, as they're unable to penetrate into tickets or the bar area, and Runshark takes another round for themselves. They are flying right now, but then again, round 2 only. So about that round, Justin.
So about that round, like you were saying, is VYBN's attack was not really coordinated there. Their structure was not really on point. They looked like they were playing very loosely. There wasn't refrag potential from their very first death, and then from there they just carried on losing players, which was not the best idea from their side. Obviously you can't really change it, but maybe their positioning could have been a bit better. You could have positioned yourself from white stairs to put pressure on that pixel angle that Smoke was playing at, to really just make it terrible for him to play in that situation, and then you can have the crossfires from the cocktail or actually piano windows where Wicked was playing on. It would have been a much better execute for them, because it's just that pinching motion from the attackers which just helps them to execute rounds and just get rounds wins. Because if you're just pushing from one angle, the defenders really feel safe, and you as an attacker, you don't want your opponents to feel safe. You want them to be under pressure, so they start to crack and start to make make small little mistakes. But so far, Runshark White are not making any mistakes. They're just playing their game. They're really playing well at the moment. Currently 2-0 up. VYBN still have what it takes to bring it back. They just have to fix those minor issues from their side. And there's the AA12 from Delphox that I was talking about earlier. So good to see him playing that once again. Hopefully he can hit some shots like he did last time on that weapon.
Yeah, I think the Twitter poll question should have been, how many times has Justin and William mentioned the fact that some players need to pinch from White Stairs window in Cafe? That's how much we've casted this map, and that's how much we've seen from it. But that was a good description there and a good analyzation of that situation from that previous round. But nonetheless, the question is, what is Valkyrie's real name? And I think it's still running, that question. So head over to World League ESP and comment with your answer right there. Right now, it seems like VYBN Esports is going to be taking the top floor again. We're going to be contesting it in there. It seems a little easier for now, as Wicked is already full sending it into Freezer right now. So he's going to be contesting somebody in heaven, and that would be Nuvek, who just recently got a kill onto Kiever. So if they don't get a refrag soon, it's going to be very bad for VYBN.
Indeed, it will be a very problem. It's a big problem for them. Sorry, I lost a bit of my words there, but the angle's being held there from Wicked, and he does pick off some HP of the Doc, but he's going to be able to heal himself right up there. As he does now, Nevik does able to drop down. So VYBN currently do have some map control of the top floor. There is one player being still playing up top. That is the Bandit contesting them, but Tierpil gets a kill from his Claymore there. That's Greedy trying to rotate up Red Stairs. I'm very confused as to why the smoke was choosing to, but good decision from him. But then a double swing coming out there from Runshark and getting off Wicked and just getting the heals back up there from Blackstone. But he does get refragged there by Kixie, and just a bit of misplay here coming out from Nivik. Will he be able to get this gunfire? No, he won't, as Kixie gets the pick, but there's a trade-off with a Maestro Cam from Delphox, and now these two players left upstairs at 50 seconds left, but they're being tormented here by this by this Maestro Cam of Delphox, really just trying to put pressure on them. So we'll have to see how they choose to attack this. 40 seconds left on the clock. These angles just being held by the defenders, just waiting for these attackers to push through. The drone work coming out from the attackers, really going to support them in this one. That AK-12 from Wasteful is actually really going to support him here, but he's going to be contested by Dining by this Carbine M1 or 416 from the Jaeger and that AA-12. So we have to see how that plays out. There is their drop, but there's a player being contested here, and now a refract or an angle being held there from Vlad, and picks off. That is Tierpil off of the board. Now Wasteful left in a 1 versus 2 situation. He doesn't pick the right angle as Vlad picks him off from Dining, just holding the angle, waiting for that Laundry secondary drop, and there it is. VYBN once again not playing with each other. They weren't there for the refrags. They didn't execute together. They just fell apart there in the end. They really didn't coordinate to try and bring that back from their 2 versus 2 situation.
Yeah, and the Zofia dying there, I think, was a little bit of a problem for VYBN because they weren't able to deal with the Maestro cameras at the end there, and that was tormenting them, as you said, later on. So I think that's where they kind of slowed down way more, and a good job from Runshark as well, wasting a little bit of time. I almost thought VYBN was going to eliminate 1 or 2 of the roamers, but they managed to get out of danger and out of trouble and fell back, and thanks to the Doc healing them up a little bit, so they were able to take a little more damage, even though they did get eliminated near the end. Oh, did he eat that? You're supposed to catch the enemy, not your own teammates. But yeah, so the Doc did kind of help to soften the blow from the attackers, and we saw only 2 attackers were left in heaven and couldn't make some sort of an attack. It worked. They did come close as they jumped into, I think, that Laundry area side of things, but couldn't connect the shots. So at this point in time of the tournament, you need to be hitting your shots. It's very important that you do. You don't need to be spending 5 to 10 seconds fighting one person. You need to eliminate them as quick as possible because you still have a lot to do after that.
Indeed they do, but speaking of doing a lot, VYBN now have a lot to work with. They really do have to pick up their socks if they want to bring themselves back in this game. Currently in a 3-0 deficit, not looking so good, but hopefully this attack will be a lot better for them. Just waiting for this hatch to be opened here by the Sledge. Just they need to pick up their aggression a bit. They are trying to do this top-down take, but there's a missed opportunity from Wicked, just holding the trigger, just waiting, but he didn't take the opportunity. That would have been the end of Nivik, as he is less than 50 HP from that impact grenade right at the beginning of the round. But now the attackers do have full map or full top floor control as they're trying to execute into this wide stairs to try and gain control of the top floor. It's going to be a very slow execute for them. They do still have 2 minutes, however, to really execute it. The angles are being watched and weighted, but they need to pick up the pace if they really do want to put pressure on these defenders, as at the moment they're just sitting wasting time, and there is a player actually contesting middle floor. I wonder if he's been droned out. I believe he's playing in this dining area. If he does get droned out, this will be an easy pick here for VYBN, as Nivik is stuck in this corner, but he is getting intel from his teammates. But whoa, he spotted out. So far, nothing at the moment, just waiting patiently for these attackers to get this player out. If Nivik runs freely and he picks off Kevin here, then he will be able to just waiting for the trigger discipline. He gets the Ash eventually, and there's a pick as well from Greedy, but there's a refrag from Wicked as he peeks into the angle. Still a missed opportunity, as now VYBN are left in a 3 versus 4 situation with a minute left on the clock. Not looking so good, as now they have to try and start executing onto that freezer area. I do believe they are getting freezer hatch open, but there is an attempt of impact trick from Delphox. He will not get it, however, but now we have to see how VYBN choose to execute it from here.
Now, you need to be careful when you're running into rooms, especially undroned, as they paid the price of Kixi dying there with a lot of utility still left. KWR also eliminated, so less of the vertical play being done here. But now they're jumping into Freezer, but they're going to be receiving shots from the Maestro. And it's just a teardown right now as they are forced to funnel into the Freezer door. And yeah, that's not going to work out well, especially if the Maestro is there and most of the defenders alive as well. So that was a bit of a lackluster attack, in my opinion, from VYBN. Lots of misdroning, lots of mispositioning. Actually, I lie. I shouldn't say mispositioning. They were well positioned. They just didn't drone out what they needed to drone out. And they had a lone roamer. He was alone, no refrag potential at all. All it took was just one drone. They have 0 cameras, so they have enough utility to drone out or set up cameras everywhere to find this person. And yeah, it's a bit confusing to see somebody let to live in a dining room, especially one of the places you actually need and want to take, and you're just going to run in there face checking and being shot in the back. That's not a good feeling at all.
Well, he didn't actually properly face check that, as he didn't peek the left angle. He believed that it was clear. There wasn't a lot of droning coming through, like you said, and the 0 cameras were not used in play. TFPO is playing 0 currently, and it looks like he's just playing it for that gun of his, because at the moment the utility is not really being used. There's always about 3 to 4 or basically 4 0 cameras up constantly, because they're just not being used to their full potential. You don't have to just waste the 0 cameras to burn out ADSs for a nade or something. You can really use that to your advantage to set up flank drones, to set up areas where you don't have any more cams to push into. That is 4 extra cams for the attackers. You still have your 10 added drones, and then those 4 0 cameras to just help give you information and intel to really take the control of the map properly. But it's not being used to its full potential at the moment, and VYBN is currently suffering because of it. They really do need to pick up what they're doing and really just focus up. Use that intel, use that information gathering that they do have, and just use the utility, because currently it's not looking so good for them.
No, it isn't, and they are sitting on a gold mine right now with those Argus cams. And Wicked only waking up and leading his team off with a lead-off pick onto the Mozzie of Vlad, but they still have to deal with these pests as well. But Wicked is on a tear right now with a double kill onto Greedy, so they're going to be dealing with whoever is on Pixel, which is the Jaeger of Nuvik. This is good progress now from VYBN Esports, as they have partially control over Piano, but they are going to be contested by the Jaeger, who is going to partly fall back a little bit. No, and he goes back to that same angle and he's going to contest him from there. Landed with a C4 from under the floor, but doesn't connect. But Nuvik does get a kill onto KWR, and Kixi also eliminated by Sir Delphox. And yeah, this is not looking great now, but it is an equal man count, with Wicked being on half health. And the Jaeger still playing Pixel, but eliminated by TPL, and he's going to be able to pick up Wicked.
A minute 10 left on the clock there. TFPL shooting his 0 cam, but not shooting the ADS first. You gotta shoot those before you want to shoot those cams. Now trying to contest this white stairs. There is a player playing in bathroom. He's trying to give these 0 cams for his teammates to watch that corridor, just to watch that flank, because there is a player in bathroom. That player in bathroom is really going to be be able to put pressure if he swings at the correct moment. He does get spotted out, and now he'll be able to swing through, and he does take advantage of that and picked off Tierpil, and now left in a 2 versus 2 situation. 50 seconds left on the clock. Wasteful now trying to recontest here on White Stairs. Wicked and Wasteful getting punished by that Maestro Evil Cam of Delphox. They won't be able to really go for the planters. There is contested there by Delphox, and he gets a pick, and now it's a 1 versus 2 situation where Wasteful does not come up on top. Delphox with that AA-12 just coming up on top there and hitting some beautiful shots, just playing it patiently and just hitting his shots and winning out the round for his team. So far, really looking good for Runshark White. They're playing perfectly at the moment, just using those strats to their advantage. Their coach must be happy at the moment, sitting there very proud. But for VYBN Esports, so far, it's looking very dire for them. They really do need to fix the small little issues that they're having. They're not really coordinating. They're not really playing for those refrags from their side. So at the moment, they do need to bring something back if they want to stay up in this matchup.
I really thought they were going to bring it back. I mean, they had that round in the bag at some point in time. They were making so much good progress, and it just kind of fell apart somewhere near when they had full control of a piano. Don't know why. They were wasting so much utility, and they know that a Maestro is on the board, so and maybe just, I don't know if the Ash died. I believe they did have an Ash in that round, right? So maybe, I don't know, save your Zofia impact to deal with those cameras, because they are annoying vibing right now, but they're using their utility so much earlier on into the round, and I don't know what they're wasting their explosive utility on, because they haven't dealt with like one of the most important utilities, which is the Evil Eyes, and I don't know why the ADSs weren't shot out, because they're right next to you and you're shooting an Argus cam right next to the ADS. So little mistakes like those will cost you in the end. And so far, Runshark isn't making a lot of those. They are playing perfectly well. Besides that, they're hitting their shots, which is where VYBN is also struggling in. They're not hitting their shots as much as Runshark is.
Speaking of that, now VYBN going once again their 6th attempt on their attack. Hopefully this one can be better for them. They're trying to take top floor control again, and a late reinforcement on the hatch coming through from Vlad there. A bit misplayed from him, but Wicked taking advantage of that as he does get the opening pick once again for his team. But now being contested from this Weiss there is a player in Freezer. Will he be able to spot this out? It looks like the pings are coming through, and good drone work coming out there from VYBN as they pick off Nivik there, just playing a bit useless there in the Freezer, just not really playing in a protected position. There's so many other positions that he could have played in. Cocktail maybe would have been a better situation for him to play in, but he's playing a bit too aggressive in that Freezer area, and well, it paid off for VYBN as they do have the advantage now. Now all they have to do is keep that advantage as they are in a 5v3 situation. They still do have a minute 40 left to work on that clock. They still have a lot of drones to come through, still have 2 0 cams as well, and so much soft destruction to really take control of this top floor.
Yeah, and my question was almost answered by a Wicked. I don't know what he used his explosive launcher on, but it wasn't on any of the utility, I may guess. So my answer, the question's almost answered right there. But right now, as they are working on the floor, then Execute has to come in very soon. But they still have a minute left, so they still have enough to work with, and they have the man count. So Runshark is only 3 man left, and they're trying to get into position to stop this assault from happening. Time is trickling down though, so there's only so much you can do from the top. And as I say that, Kevir eliminates Delphox, so he's out of the picture, leaving Runshark with only 2 players left. The Bandit and the Smoke, he still has a couple of smoke grenades, so they might be useful. And as I say that, they're not going to be useful at all when bullets are flying towards you, as Wasteful ends the round for VYBN, and they finally get around. Even though it's the 6th one, it is something at the end of the day to work with. So a lot of catching up to do from them, and it's going to be a little difficult seeing that they're switching over to attack. So what do you think they need to do right now, Justin? Because attacking Cafe sometimes could be super difficult, especially when you are behind with so many rounds.
So VYBN now have to defend, as there are disadvantages as well. Cafe, in my opinion, is a defender-sided map. We have seen it from the Runshark White's defense from the previous 6 rounds. They did play really well, but VYBN just really picking up and fixing those small mistakes that they were making in the previous rounds. It maybe was a bit too late and took them a bit too long to recognize those issues, but then eventually coming up on top in that round, just bringing them into a bit of a safer area, not taking it to match point for Runshark White. Now still have rounds to win or rounds to play with. We have seen quite a lot of teams come back from a position like this, so hopefully VYBN just keep their heads up and they'll be able to do it. But as for their defending strats, they just need to play their game. They don't need to play aggressive. They need to wait for the attackers to push to them. They need to get those couple picks, waste the drones, and just all out, just wait for the attackers to really be under pressure. Because that is the main game of Siege, is to put your teammates, or your opponents, sorry, not teammates, under pressure so that they start to crack and therefore they can't really play to their fullest potential.
Indeed, and right now it doesn't seem like a full-on roam from VYBN Esports, as they're gonna hold a bakery and a small bake and I think prep. So that's gonna be pivotal, and that is a piece of importance in terms of the map to hold, because once you have control of a bakery, you can easily, well, maybe not easily, but at some point in time, you are going to be able to open that bakery wall and assault into sight. But it looks like Runshark is taking a top-down attack, which might be a little bit of a waste, but they are trying to be careful. So they're just trying to make sure that they cover their bases and they tick all the check boxes. So it might prove dividends in the long run as they clear out the top and second floor, so they'll be able to assault from there.
It does look like VYBN were holding top floor, but they aren't holding it anymore. So once again, a Runshark just taking top down as well. VYBN did that in their hold. We saw how that went. The time management wasn't on point for them, but from the defenders, they were wasting a lot of time, Runshark's defense. So now, no time wasted at all. Runshark do have top floor control. There's a minute 30 left on the clock, so it's a lot of time still wasted, but they are busy doing vertical control now and putting a lot of pressure on these defenders playing inside. So that's what we like to see, but they do need to start making an execute. It is a 5 versus 5, so it's going to come down to who gets that opening pick and who gets control of these areas first. We do see 2 of these players positioned in this VIP main area to try and take advantage of these attackers, but there's castle barricades waiting for them and a Rooney gates just waiting to try and put pressure on them. They also have that intel from that bulletproof camera in small bakery, and a player does get spotted out, but his feet just nearly being missed there, as he is now playing in Harry Potter. He will be stuck there, but putting a lot of time wasting for the defenders. And speaking of that, Wasteful does get picked off, so they were trying to use that echo, but now the echo cam's not going to be used at all. It will only be able to give information, and now Wicked gets a pick for himself. That's Delphox off for the round, and Vlad adding onto that, and Greedy as well as Tierpil off of the board, and Kixie gets picked off by Nevik. Now 4 versus 1 as the plant is down, and it's all up to Kevin in a 1 versus 4 situation. He is peeking in this red hallway. He does not hear these shots, and Greedy comes up on top there and bringing Runshark White to a 6-1 lead so far.
Yes, that was a swift take by Runshark White, and my word, are they on the roll. VYBN choosing to turtle a little bit on the defensive side of things. It seemed like they could have held it for quite a long time, but it wasn't so. Again, they're not hitting those important shots that they need to hit. And Runshark is just smacking every single shot left, right, and center. And them choosing to attack a freezer more than anything else proved dividends for their attack, as VYBN was holding a bakery a lot more and they couldn't rotate in time. But Runshark still had players, I think, close to Red Stairs and Cocktail, and they were able to contest some of those players in there and take freezer. So that was well played by Runshark, and now forcing VYBN to go to the top floor on their second defense.
They do have now to go upstairs, so just changing up the sites for them. Hopefully upstairs is a better site. for them to play in. It does look like they have a well set up idea as to how they want to play it, but currently not looking so good score-wise. They do have to try and make something out of these next couple rounds if they're on match point. So they have to win 5 rounds in a row if they want to bring map 1 back into their favor. They are going to play a lot of the shield meta in this bathroom area, as Kixie is going to make a line of sight there as well. But for Runshark White, they do also have that lineup to really support them. They have the flank now. They have the 2 entry fraggers, usually known as the Sophia and the Ash, for those positions. Also the soft breach from them that comes along with it, and the Jackal just going to support them on their roam. But now we do see an adaptation from Runshark White that I was speaking about that VYBN needed to make, which was putting some pressure on that white stairs area to really allow them to get piano control. Putting pressure from white really just helps support getting control of that pixel area, getting rid of the shield if it is played there. VYBN not playing it at the moment, but they do have a shield in bathroom, so they can really just hold that angles. But we do see an aggressive play here from Wicked in Cigar Shop, as he does eat off a lot of HP here from Greedy, leaving him onto 25 HP. But that Inox scan just going to help him to get the location of this defender, as he has fallen down to the bottom. Some pre-fires coming out, nothing hitting so far, but Nevik will try and chase him. There is support from Greedy and Vlad, and Wicked will be able to get a couple picks for himself, as he does pick off one. That's Nevik off of the board, but where's the refrags from his team? They will have to try and refrag that pick if they want to keep the advantage or try and bring the advantage to their side. It doesn't look like it so far, as there is just a standoff happening here from Greedy. Wicked does know that he's gone onto the drones, so he'll have to see how this is going to be played. Is that some shots getting hit from vertical, actually, as Wicked does get a second one that's Greedy off of the board and the Jackal. But Delphox and Blackstone do have control here of this piano area, so they will have to try and now pressure these 2 players playing in bathroom.
And the player stuck in train was a point of importance. I don't believe they've eliminated him just yet, as he's still standing there firing from below and causing a lot of trouble. And VKixie getting a pick onto Delphox right now, leaving Runshark with only 2 players left, but Blackstone answers back with a kill onto TPL, and an air jab goes off, so they do know somebody's stuck in pixel, so he's going to be approaching that, but he has to worry about the shield in bathroom right now, so he's going to be picked off. No, he's not. He's actually going to pick off KWR and that contestant, but now he has to deal with the smoke. The smoke knows where he is, and he knows where the smoke is. You're damned if you don't, but you're damned if you do, and VKixie says you're damned if you do, and eliminates Vlad. But now Blackstone is stuck on his own, has to push into Freezer right now, but he's going to be cut off from different angles as Wasteful ends the round and gets a round for VYBN.
Finally, another round for VYBN Esports, as their defense is looking a lot better on that upstairs. But now they have to decide if they want to go to kitchen or if they would try reading room and dining instead. Maybe they bring a mining and fireplace. It doesn't look like that, but at the moment we do see them going back to kitchen. So hopefully they have fixed up those small little issues that they did in the previous round that they defended on kitchen. Otherwise, so far, it looks like Runshark do have that advantage in this round, and it hasn't even started being played yet.
It hasn't indeed, but I mean, it seems like VYBN is starting to wake up a little bit right now, because Runshark is playing a little more aggressive, and VYBN is starting to notice that, and they're turning the aggression up a little bit more, which is what you do want to see. You just don't want to take it from a team that's playing aggressive and wonder why you're losing rounds. So hopefully they can bring back a couple more rounds from their mistakes. They do go back to kitchen and service, and they do know the mistakes that they made. So if they fix a couple of those mistakes, they might be able to bring back a couple of rounds. I would like to see maybe a little bit of roaming up top, even if it is just one person, just to waste a little bit of time and eliminate a couple of drones here and there, as that is a roamer's job. So, I mean, without that, then you're just turtling on defense and you're going to be just flooded by attackers, and it's going to come down to just gunfights and nothing else.
Indeed, that will be the case if it does come down to it. But so far, VYBN do look like they have a more structured defense. I hope that they do put a bit more pressure on that upstairs, as it does look like there is a spawn peak coming out there from Wicked, but he does lose quite a bit of HP. He's still left on 75, but now Runshark going back up for that top floor roam clear from them once again, and we just see Nevik just dancing in front of his teammate, waiting for the area to be cleared so that he can take control of that skylight. He is dropped straight off all the way to Reading to try and contest this player from White. Wicked now able to fall all the way down to the bottom floor, and Nevik does gain full control of middle floor and top floor. So Runshark White will now be able to start doing vertical control, as Greedy as well is starting to contest here from red stairs. It is a better adaptation from them. Last time they pressured into VIP and main and the main lobby area, but now pressuring from red stairs as well, just really adapting to try and get rid of this player playing here in Kochek. That is the Cade. He is being scanned by the Jackal Inox, but he'll just sit there and wait patiently.
He's going to be tucked in there and just wait for the opportune moment. Right now, he's not in any real danger, but he's soon going to be, because Runshark has total control of top floor, and they are just getting into position to get their frags started right now. As you can see, somebody is on brown stairs, and I see Blackstone is on Freezer, so they're going to be approaching Freezer or breaching into Freezer real soon, and they still have cover from red stairs, so no flanking is going to be done by VYBN right now, as the castle does take a couple of shots from Blackstone and Delphox, and he is eliminated. That was the Kixie out of the board, but hopefully some of these castle doors are up, and right now some sort of an execute has to happen as the Freezer wall has been opened up. This is very dangerous right now for VYBN, because they are going to be approached by a lot of Runshark's players, and they still have top floor control, so anybody rotating around to defend that Freezer side, they're going to be met with bullets from the Zofia or someone else who's on the top. So
now there is a player being contested here in Bakery, as Greedy is in the small bake area, or actually Harry Potter, but this player in Kochek is going to be able to pick off Delphox, and there's 3 picks from VYBN just adding onto the scoreboard. Wicked gets 1 and Tierpio as well, but it's all left up to the 2 players of Runshark. It's Blackstone and Vlad versus 4 players of VYBN Esports. They're trying to go for this plant attempt, but there is no cover, as Blackstone gets off of the plant to pick off 1 for himself. Now going for that plant again. There has to be cover, but a C4 comes swinging out there from Tierpio, and now the Echo Drone as well adding onto it. Vlad is not able to get that plant down and not able to win the round, as VYBN Esports come back from their 6-1 deficit to bring themselves to a 6-3. Will we see a comeback in this match? We'll have to wait and see how this match plays out, but so far it's looking like a much better game for VYBN Esports, and more interesting. Just a lot of more action pack coming through, not very one-sided. Now we do see the Siege game coming out into its fullest potential.
I see what VYBN has done now. They only use the aggression near the end of the round, so they just wait for Runshark to do their thing on the top and middle floor, and they're just saying, well, just come to us. We'll fight you when you try and make the execute, which is working out really well for them. And that's when the aggression comes out from VYBN. So they're just conserving a little bit of energy, as we saw. I think it was TPL playing in VIP or codes. Just patiently waiting to be approached, and he wasn't picked up. I think he had a castle door behind him to cover that window, so nobody could flank around him. So that was a little bit of misuse from Runshark to just approach him from one angle. Even though he was flashed, he knew exactly what was happening. You can just easily pre-fire that spot and you might get a kill. So he was lucky enough to get a kill there, and I think that was one of the most deciding factors in that round, in VYBN winning that round.
Indeed it was, and VYBN playing a lot better. We did speak about their kitchen and service defense when they did it the first time, that they needed to play a bit more passively and wait for those attackers to push into them. And well, the Costa Curse is coming out once again, as they are reading our minds like always, just doing what we are saying. And Nevik now going once again for this white stairs to try and put pressure onto these players, as they are defending, reading and dining this time from VYBN's side. So trying to get control of this cocktail area, doing a much different push than VYBN did, trying to put pressure on from these windows, which in my opinion is a really good tactic from Runshark. But now we have to see if Nivik can really just put pressure on them, or if he will just sit there and wait for VYBN to peek into him.
Yeah, and this is a dangerous game that VYBN is playing right now, because he's going to be sandwiched from Skylight and those windows. So he's going to try and get into a position where he can contest at least one of those, because you want to separate your enemies and get into a 1v1 gunfight and not end up in a bad situation. C4 comes up but not connecting in that window. Nivik is still alive and well and ready to fight anyone else, but he does need to make his way into the building because he's more effective with that weapon on the ash rather than just sitting on the window and waiting for somebody to cross. Right now somebody is down, then that was the Vlad on the Zafir as Giver with a shotgun eliminates him, but the Delphox with a refrag onto Wicked. Another trade from Kixie onto Greedy. This is a trade for trade right now, but it's in favor of VYBN, and they are looking strong at the moment. Somebody is in bar, and Kixie gets a double kill as he drops Delphox, but Blackstone answers back onto Kixie. But it's still in favor of VYBN right now, as Runshark needs to make an adjustment and make something happen, as both their players on half HP each. And as for VYBN, the only person who was deterred is Wasteful. And KWR gets another kill onto Nivik, so left over to Blackstone to clean up all the mess. C4 comes out to end the round. VYBN Esports gets another round on the board with a well-tossed C4 to land straight onto one of Runshark's players' feet and sends him sky high, flying in the bar with no shot in taking a shot in the bar or taking a shot to clear the round.
VYBN just playing that reading and dining execute for their defense just so well. They played far differently to what I've seen, well, more the default before. They extended into both not only freezer but bathroom upstairs, as if they were holding cocktail bar as a site. So from them to do that and just keep the control for as long as possible, getting 3 picks off and then getting the final 2 there at the end from Kiever, just really well done from them, really well executed on their defense and just well held. They knew that the attackers need to push to them. They picked up their aggression a bit. They just peeked into those angles that Runshark weren't really expecting to be peeked through, and just they didn't really know how VYBN was going to hold their defense, because holding almost like it was a cocktail and bar defense in a reading and dining defense, this shows you how advanced they are, and they're just coming up with so many different strategies to really throw off Runshark White at the moment, and it's really working in their favor. I do believe that they can make a comeback from that. I won't jinx them in any way. The score is currently 6-4, but at the way that they're playing, they really are in their best mindset at the moment to bring this back to the very end and take it to overtime.
Man, I gotta tell you, the way they defended Bar and Cocktail, I kind of was convinced that was the site at some point, because so much action happened there, and that proves to everybody how important it is to either keep hold of top floor or wherever it is you're going to be pressured from on site, or waste as much time as you possibly can. And since VYBN had the man count to their advantage, they decided to hold it for as long as they could. Right now, the site is definitely in Bar and Cocktail, and Runshark is going to be approaching it from the top as usual, and they're going to be trying to get that player off Pixel anytime soon. Don't see any roamers below, but there might be though. I could be very wrong, as I've always been. Right now, an IQ scan is going to be detecting some of the utility and giving the info to their teammates as they do drop a red stairs. So they're going to be contested, or they're going to be contesting somebody, especially that person in a Pixel.
Now the flashes, the stun's gonna come through to try and get rid of the shield in Pixel, as Kevin gets a pick for himself, picks off Vlad as he tries to contest him. So just doing the counter contest from his side, really just proving that he wants to keep his team in this game, getting the opening pick for VYBN Esports now. 1:30 left on the clock as now the attacker's trying to put pressure in. Yeah, but the smoke gets picked off there
Wow.
by Blackstone. He's peeked out, saw the smoke, and then peeked out again and took the shot. Kixie just not reacting at all there and just getting punished for it. So well done to Blackstone there to even out the scoreline. But now Kevin being contested here in this bathroom area. He does lose a lot of HP and he gets contested by Nivik, but there is a trade there from Wicked, from White Stairs. Now a 3 versus 3 situation. VYBN really want to keep themselves in this game as there is a pick from Greedy that's wasteful off of the board. Tearpill loses a lot of his HP, but it's a 3 versus 2 situation. Man advantage in favor of, well, in Runshark White, as now there is a contest here and another shot from Blackstone just taking out Wicked. He didn't even see him. He took the shot and he hit the shot, and now bringing his team into a 3 versus 1 situation as Greedy does rotate up to the skylight area, as now I believe Runshark White will try to make an execute.
Indeed, IQ rotating all up to Skylight, so that means he's going to be holding it from the top. A plant is going down on the trash, which is one of the default sites. Red Ping does flown off, so they know where he is. And Greedy, well poised and well positioned up top on that Skylight to end the round. And oh my, close but no cigar for VYBN Esports as Runshark take the first map in Cafe. 7-4, I think that score was. What a game from Runshark.
Indeed it was. It was such an exciting game. And I believe somebody in chat called that the scoreline was going to be 7-4. Everybody doubted him. So if you guessed that the game was going to be a 7-4 victory to Runshark White, well done to you there. So, well, you must feel proud of yourself. But just for Runshark White, they must also feel proud of themselves, as they did play really well in that matchup. They played their siege perfectly. They came into, well, match point from the very beginning, not losing many rounds. They lost one of their attacking rounds and then just taking it from there. But VYBN really did come back in the end. They really started picking up their socks. They changed their mistakes. They really tried to adapt to keep themselves in the game. And unfortunately, Runshark just in the end stopped making small little mistakes and they adapted to VYBN, and then, you know, taking it out there in the end. I think it's well deserved from them, but really hard fought victory from them. VYBN did put up a show there near to the end, so well done to them. Hopefully for this second matchup, as I believe they're going to Clubhouse, is a much better game for them if they want to keep themselves in this game and take it to map 3, which is Oregon, and I believe that can be anybody's game at this point.
Yep, whoever you are that gets the score, you should play the lotto and send me some numbers if you will, please. But yeah, as Justin said, well played by Runshark White and a valiant effort from VYBN. And that just goes to show that the earlier stages of the map or match are just as important as how you finish the map. You should start strong, finish strong, and it'll pay dividends to your game. Right now, we are going to take a 5-minute break. We'll be back very soon. It's Justin and William, and stay tuned.
of the night sky, trying to make me see your stars. But the dark gets so lonely. Now I see violet, I can feel silence. And the dark's all that I see. When your stars have burnt out and your heart makes no sound, I'll find violet in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. You're the night sky hiding behind dark gray clouds. I can't figure you out now. I see all blue. There is so much cold in you, and the silence is so loud when you go.
Back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a good night so far, and hope you are enjoying the games so far. And that was map 1 that was previously played in Cafe Dostoevsky, and now we're going to Clubhouse. It's map 2. Runshark taking map 1. So Justin, that was an epic game, dude. And Omar, we saw a lot of either questionable plays or questionable, I'm not going to say strats actually, but questionable plays and some epic plays. And yeah, what do you think of that? And what do you think of this coming map?
So last game was very interesting. So Runshark bring it all the way to match point, and then VYBN started coming back. So it was a bit of a loose end there for Runshark as they were throwing away rounds. But VYBN, we can't take it away from them as they were really trying to bring it back. They really gave it in their best effort. They really played well, just getting those opening picks and really just trying to take the first step and really just put the rounds in their favor. They got pretty close. They got to a 6-4 end there in the end, then Runshark just cleaning it out, taking that first map to a 7-4. If you guys are only joining in with us now, it is map number 2, Clubhouse, as we'll be joining in on Runshark White versus VYBN Esports. The bans are coming through, and we do have 3 bans currently. Thatcher is the first ban, Hibana is the second attacking ban, and Echo will be the first defending ban. So that's an adaptation there from Runshark White. They played Echo a couple rounds in their previous matchup on Cafe. So did VYBN Esports. So maybe it's a counter ban from there. They don't want to play against that Echo once again. And the Cade coming out from VYBN Esports as their ban. So denying that hatch denial there from their side when they go onto the attack, as Thatcher is banned. So it is going to be pretty difficult for those attackers to get control of those hatches. Maybe it would have been a better option for them to use that in their favor, but needless to say, it is their choice. So maybe they are planning for the future, which is always a good idea. Maybe they do decide to impact Trick, as they are currently going to that Church and Arsenal site as their very first site on Clubhouse.
Yeah, that Hibana ban is quite interesting. I know a lot of people might be thinking, oh, it's just Hibana. You can just get hatches and maybe open a couple of walls here and there, but you are denying so much when you get rid of Hibana. A lot of lines of sight, and seeing that her update was done so she can use maybe 2 or 4 of her X-Kairos. She can open little holes here and there. So she's somewhat of a budget maestro. I mean, not maestro, maverick. Somewhat of a budget maverick to a certain extent. So that ban is quite interesting. And I want to see how players adapt to her not being around for this map.
Indeed. But I think, to be honest, Hibana can really... she can be very useful, especially on Clubhouse, because you can take for a CCTV take, you can take from Garage, and that Hibana just supports to getting control of Garage. Most teams choose to take that, but it doesn't really put much impact onto Runshark's attack, as they do not really fathom about it. They just took a Thermite instead of their bundle, which is still a very good pick. I believe that Thermite's going to help with those hatches and to get the church wall if they choose to take from main stairs. But Nivik currently on the ace as well, so Thermite, ace, and a Maverick, 3 hard breaches for Runshark White, really looking like they do have the utility set up to take control of that church and arsenal areas.
And so right now, I'm interested to see where Runshark is going to be attacking from. Right now, they're droning top floor, and they do have the Zofia in tow to clear out that area. I'm wondering if she has somebody supporting her, and if she does, that's a very good thing. But if she doesn't, that's very ill-advised. But it doesn't seem like VYBN is anywhere near the top floor right now. They're only holding a blue and secret. So that gives a chance for Runshark to just push straight into bar and kitchen and get rid of some of those hatches. I see they do have a Maverick, a Thermite, and an Ace. So they should be getting rid of those hatches anytime soon, seeing as the Cade is not around to do the dirty work of trying to stop them from breaching.
Indeed, but now the hatch is getting open here from Runshark White, and they do have control of this top floor. Those Thermite charges just coming into play, and all the ace charges as well being used for vertical. So that's an interesting tactic there, or I believe it was actually trying to bait out the impact trick there from VYBN. They do still have 2 impacts left, so that was a bit of a wasted opportunity for them to try and impact trick it, but there was a lot of vertical coming out there from Runshark, so I think that was good pressure from them, as now there is a minute left on the clock. So Runshark White do have to start making execute. It is a 5v5 situation at the moment. They do have control of those hatches. They can choose to drop the hatches if they please, but they'll have to get rid of that player playing in AK. And speaking of a player getting picked off, that is Kiever, the first pick off. That's Smoke, so his utility will not be used, and there's some shots getting laid down onto Wicked as he does lose quite a bit of HP from Vlad on this main stairs area, but 30 seconds left on the clock. Runshark White now trying to go for an execute, and there's a flank coming out there, and 2 players get picked off, and Wicked adds onto the board as well, and Blackstone is down. He does get picked off there by Kixie. Now a 2v3 situation as Greedy and Vlad are the last 2 picked off. He does pick off this Butte playing here in this blue area, and now a 2 versus 2 situation as there's guns being contested from every angle, and Wasteful getting the pick, but there's a refrag now left in a 1 versus 1 situation. It's 5 seconds left on the clock. Vlad does not have the diffuser, so therefore Wicked is just going to play up top there and just waste the time. And there's the first round, goes in favor of VYBN Esports. So well done from them to just waste the time and really just play that advantage on them. That flank was beautiful coming out there from, I believe it was not Wicked, sorry, my bad, it was Kixie there on the Aruni. So good flank from him, and then just the picks fold into VYBN Esports' favor after that. So really, really well done from them. Really good strat from their half to bring themselves the first round in this match.
Yep, you have to keep a lookout for those Runshark. I think Kixie flanked up main stairs, which is really problematic because you do want control of main stairs. And if a defender is coming up main stairs, that means you either don't have control of a bar, which is what you should have if you are attacking kitchen. So even if it's just a drone watching, that was a misplay, and they weren't planned for that, and they got punished for it. So I hope they know exactly what happened there, because they are going to have to deal with it again at some point in time. But right now, VYBN has gone all the way up to CCTV and Cash, and they're bringing a Valkyrie, Jaeger, Bandit, Vigil, and a Maestro. Really good lineup for now, especially with those Valkyrie cams to watch out. I'm wondering if they're going to be put outside for any runouts. It doesn't seem like that's the case, but Kevia is going to be roaming all the way at the bottom, and he's going to pull out a flank of a sword.
That Vigil really gonna put an impact on VYBN's defense on that roam, because the Jackal not being in play from Runshark White is really gonna put pressure on them, because they don't have that Jackal once again to really get that information as they did in the previous match in Cafe. So them choosing to bring 3 hard breaches is beneficial to them to get all the walls and get all the angles open, but they can't get control if they choose to do roam clear. A bit of flashes getting messed up there from the attackers. but the nade eventually coming through, and Kixie losing a lot of HP as he is trying to bandit trick it. He will attempt it once again, but he's on the wrong wall, and the thermite charge will be able to get that wall. Kixie does able to run away freely, but he does lose quite a lot of HP, as now the attackers do have the advantage. They do have also a minute 50 left on the clock, so a lot of time to work with. As a nade does come swinging through, it does get taken out there by that ADS, as that Maestro cam is putting pressure and giving intel onto that garage area.
They do have the necessary holes and breaches opened up on some sort of walls right now, and right now they have to deal with the player in Rafters, and I think they do have the Sledge and Blackstone to deal with that quite momentarily, because with that player still playing in Rafters, it's going to be really hard to make that execute onto breach site. So right now Hellfox is pushing in, and he's getting into position to eliminate the player in Rafters. They just have to get him out of position or get him to stand up. His backpack is peeking a little onto that Rafters floor. He is just tucking into the floor right now and playing for his life. He's wasting a lot of time. But finally, Blackstone does push up and manages to eliminate him. He didn't have any sort of support right now. And somebody on the breach, I believe that was Nivik, eliminating KWR. And now Runshark has control over Raptors and Garage. Nivik getting another kill onto Kixie, and right now an execute is going to be happening right now. Blackstone is going to put the diffuser down. Is there any C4s or anything to stop the plant? Nope. Nobody has C4s, nobody has anything to counter the plant, and that's going to be a round for Runshark.
Well done there from Runshark, really just adapting and just using that information from them just to take advantage of Rafters control and getting that breach open in a swift manner, really just putting pressure on those defenders. And obviously the defenders were very low on HP, but that Maestro just wasting so much time on those Rafters, and everybody just wanted to shoot his backpack that was sticking through the Rafters corridor. There was a bit of a funny moment there, but needless to say, Runshark still did really well in that round. They were able to get control of that Rafters area, and then the picks just followed up from there afterwards, and they got control of CCTV, and then they tried to go for the execute for plant. They got the plant down, as Tierpil was the last one alive. He was trying to make a play to stop the diffuser, but there were 4 different angles that he had to peek. So in the end, it's like, which one can you really peek safely in the end? And unfortunately, he wasn't able to do that. So well done there from Runshark White, just to take advantage of those small issues from VYBN and really just win them that round.
Indeed, and I think the no support for the play in Rafters was a detriment for VYBN. I don't know if they had a player down in secret or down in blue, so maybe that player could have rotated around, because I don't believe any Runshark players were downstairs at all. So maybe they should take point of that, or take note of that, and adjust accordingly. And right now it seems like they are, as they do have a couple of players downstairs. So hopefully they'll have an impact into what happens later on. So now Wicked is going to be playing in bar, close to strip side of things, and we'll see where the attack comes from. It seems like another basic attack from Runshark, as they're going straight for the CCTV wall, and they're going to be doing the exact same thing.
But the C4 comes swinging out there, but it's not able to do any damage onto anyone, as it just goes straight past, and and another C4 comes out. Just VYBN wasting his C4s on that main breach. They still have one more to work with, but they do get the opening pick, and Wicked adds onto that as he does pick off Vlad. That's a Sophia off of the board, and now Kixie just going to be able to try and bandit trick this wall once again. He isn't able to do it, as the wall does get opened up by Nivik. But well done from VYBN there, as they bring the advantage. With a minute 50 left on the clock, they have 2-man advantage, a 5 versus 3 situation for them. So now they just have to sit and wait for those attackers to make the mistake and trying to push into their lines of sight rather than peeking into the attackers.
And they are in a bad spot right now, and VYBN is in a good spot, so they don't need to do much at all. As Justin said, they can just sit back and wait for the 3 players to make some sort of move. And right now, somebody did make a move, and that was Nivik eliminating Wasteful, putting him in the dirt, and Wasteful is out of the picture, so they might have control over Garage. And there's that rotate from the Valkyrie down in mud or secret. and she's going to be contesting them. But now Nivek is rotating all the way down to oil pit, and he's going to go up blue and contest this Valkyrie and eliminate her off the board, because she's very dangerous to be alive, especially in that situation, because that C4 will stop you from planting the diffuser. Right now they're going to deal with them Maestro cams, and execute has to be happening anytime soon, but they do have to eliminate at least 1 or 2 more players from VYBN side of things. Somebody taking damage, and that is the Wicked on the Jaeger lying down in cash room. Somebody has an angle, and that was Kivir from cash room eliminating Greedy. This is looking bad for Runshark right now. There's the Valkyrie again on top of the red stairs, and somebody takes a headshot. And that was, I think, Wicked on the Jaeger. I may be wrong. And KWR finishing the round off and getting a round for Runshark. This is looking good for them as they're catching up on the scoreboard. VYBN losing CCTV and cash again. So surely they're going to be changing the sites right now.
Sorry to correct you there. It was actually VYBN that won that round, not Runshark. I think you had a bit of a mistake there.
I saw headshots coming in left, right, and center.
It's okay. We have those small minor issues with the Discord stream, but it will be resolved soon. But however,
sorry, Kixie. I'm sorry, Wasteful got killed, and I saw that. So sorry, Kixie, and sorry. I think it was Wicked.
I think Wicked got picked off there, but on the Jaeger. But going aside from that,
and we're back. Just lost you for a second there. So yeah, that was me apologizing to Kixie and Wicked, and I made the mistake of saying the round went to Runshark when instead it went to VYBN. Hopefully they forgive me for that one. Now we're going all back to Church and Armory this time. So as far as I can remember, that round went to VYBN as well. I do know that I'm correct in saying that. So they're going to be going there, and they're going to be doing a SSG type hold as defending the CCTV, and they're going to be falling back as they either being pressured or if they can eliminate as many drones as they possibly can. That was a little bit of a late reinforcement there on CCTV, so Vlad will know about it, even though they are going to drone it again. Seems like Justin is not back yet. He's left me alone, so I'll carry on. So now, another take from the strip side of things is a Delphox. He knows that the hatch is open, so he's going to wait for that player to go there. So he's going to be waiting for whoever's going to be rotating from that side of things. That might pay dividends to them on this round, because at some point in time, the defenders do have to rotate. Right now, an attack onto, I think it was the castle. He's either shooting somebody or somebody's shooting him, and that's Delphox eliminating Kivir, and he is out of the picture. So now they are fighting these defenders from the bottom floor up as Vlad eliminates Kixie this time around. So the defenders have to use some other means of rotating because they are falling. Those are the 2 roamers out of the picture right now. Not sure where Wicked is, but a Runshark is going to be attacking Dirt Tunnel and going straight for site. They do have the man count so far, and an execute might be happening anytime soon. As drone work is being done right now, nobody's taken that much damage. He's going to use the grenade to get rid of the castle doors, so VYBN is going to know about that approach. And there's the castle running away from that couple of shots there. The castle is stuck in gym right now and finally eliminated. So leaving Wasteful all on his ace to either ace it, clutch it, and pull some magic off, and he's unable to. He's walking up in bar. And Wasteful is finally eliminated, and I think I am correct in saying that that round goes to Runshark. And yeah, Justin has decided to still leave me alone, which is fine. I don't mind. You know, I think last time before I left him alone when my internet cut out, and was it Jason or one of the ATK members pulled off an ace, which I completely missed. It was Figure. Pulled out an ace, and I completely missed it due to internet issues. So now Justin is being punished for that himself. but it's leaving me alone. So right now we're going to church and Arsenal room again. Seems like VYBN is going to continue the trade of losing a site and then going back to it. So I don't fault them for that. Sometimes you lose a site and you know exactly what went wrong and you just make the necessary adjustments to fix it. So I hope to see those necessary adjustments being done. I think one of them was either overstaying their welcome up on the top floors as they were getting pressured and pushed. You do want to rotate as quick and as fast as you possibly can if you are being pressured too much. But you can account for being pushed from every single angle, which is what Runshark did. They pushed from strip, they pushed from kitchen and CCTV, which resulted in the castle being stuck in gym room. He wasn't able to rotate around CCTV. He wasn't able to rotate down main stairs. And that hatch, even though it was open, somebody was waiting for him to drop down. Even though he lasted long enough, it just wasn't enough because his teammates got eliminated and they finally pushed down. So right now it seems like it's a similar take and they are going to be droning in bar. So we'll see if they find a couple of players and we'll see how this approach is done.
Yep, I am back. Sorry, I had a bit of technical issues. My Discord stopped working there. And it was just a bit rude from Discord. Mid-conversation, they just decided to cut me off. How rude of them. But I do see that the previous round went in favor of Runshark White. Well done, William, there on your casting from your side to do it by yourself, unfortunately, from my side there. But speaking of this round, now the attackers are trying to execute all the way onto top floor. Vlad here by himself trying to get control of this master bedroom main area. He'll just wait patiently for that drone to come through, and a C4 does come swinging out from VYBN Esports as it does take a lot of damage onto Greedy, but there's a pick from Greedy and he picks off Wicked. That's him off of the board. Now a 4 versus 5 situation in favor of Runshark, and we do have a minute 40 left on the clock. Now they're starting to do that vertical control once again to gain control of those hatches and get control of that kitchen and moto hatch and really just put pressure on these defenders. They do have the advantage now, so minute 20, just holding the angles, getting that information and preparing for an execute as a nade does come swinging out. Greedy does get a double kill for himself this round as he picks off Wasteful. That's the Valkyrie off of the round. She still does over cams, however, so that will be giving intel for the defenders to really put pressure and just support them a bit as they are now disadvantaged. But Greedy now in moto drone, then put pressure on these defenders, and he gets down there. I believe it was from the player in blue as he does get finished off there by Kixie, but this player lurking here in Dirt Tunnel is trying to put a pressure, and he gets swung by Kiever on the smoke there. He gets finished off with the shotgun. Nevik just lagging there, but Kixie also adding onto the scoreboard, getting 1, and that brings the advantage back down into VYBN's area as they are now in a 3 versus 2 scenario, and there are shots getting relayed from both teams there from that kitchen hatch.
Yeah, I think Nivek just got stuck on Blackstone's body as he was trying to go past the kitchen counter there. Right now, the two hard breachers have to do the cleanup, dirty work, and as a camera spots them while they're trying to open the church door, Nivek says, hell no, Kixie, it's time for you to get eliminated, and an execute is going to be happening. He's got the cover, couple of shots onto blue stairs. Will this plant go down? Somebody's going to be peeking from the door. That's the smoke inside, creeping in. And right now, how on earth did Nivek get those kills onto KWR and the VYBN players? Where was the smoke canisters? I think he did use them earlier on, unless I'm mistaken. If that is the mute, I'm sorry. But yeah, they shouldn't have been able to get that plant off and win that round. That is a round stolen by Runshark, and VYBN making a big mistake on that one.
Indeed, they did. Just having a bit of unfortunate events there. They were disadvantaged, and then bringing back the advantage there from a 3 versus 5 to a 3 versus 3, and then a 3 versus 2. So they had it in the bag in that scenario, but just not holding the correct angles there in the end as, well, the attackers of Runshark White decided to go for a church execute. They didn't even have the wall open. They just pushed straight into Moto. So the correct angles, the crossfires were not being held there from VYBN just to put pressure on that area. They just gave it freely to Runshark wide to really put pressure in and just push into sight and get that plant down. And then Nevik just getting the 2 final kills at the end and finishing it off. It was just a bit of a wasted round for VYBN Esports, in my opinion. They could have just held it a lot better, but hopefully for this round, as they are going back to CCTV and Cash. I don't know if they have chosen to go on gym yet, William.
No, they haven't.
So they haven't. Okay. So only taking that Church and Arsenal and CCTV sites. It's very, neck in neck at the moment. Just going one tit for tat at the moment. No, you get 1 round, I take 1 round, just constantly. So if that carries on, then VYBN will take this round. Otherwise, hopefully Runshark White will get a bit of advantage for them on their attacks.
Yeah, VYBN is going to be kicking themselves when they see a couple of these rounds because they're playing well. In my opinion, it's just those final details that they're just missing out on, and it's costing them a couple of rounds so far. And those are rounds that you don't want to lose, especially when you're on defense. And right now, Runshark having 3 rounds on attack is not good news for VYBN. Right now, the Thermite is going to be going for that wall. Last time he went for the left side, this time he's going for the right side. So the bandit of Kixie trying to guess but not guessing right again. That must be infuriating for him as he took a little bit of damage trying to run away. So the CCTV wall is open and in good time at that. Where will the execute be coming in from? As I say that, Sophia on the Vlad eliminating Kixie off the board right now. He's aiming down at the hatch, but somebody is waiting on that door. So if he's not careful, he might be getting eliminated right now. And the construction wall is going to be taken out. Where was the utility? They have a mute and a bandit. So I don't know how they got rid of those utility on that wall. Well, they were in construction, so they did just shoot it out.
I'm not sure how they got that mute jam. I believe it was a mute jammer on that construction wall. Maybe they shot it from the main breach, or they had something there. But speaking of that, and Nate does come swinging out there from the sledge in stock, and he takes out a lot of Kiva's damage, and Greedy adding a pick. But now Kiva's feet just getting shot there, and Greedy getting a double for himself. Now leaving it in a 2 versus 4 situation, a 1 versus 4 situation, as now Wasteful is the last man alive. Greedy is down, but will he be able to be picked up as the plant is being attempted here? Wasteful has to peek 5 different angles as Vlad gets the final pick. They're just holding the correct angle and waiting for him to peek into his line of sight and getting the final pick for his team and taking it to a 4-2 split for them on their attack. Really well done from Runshark White, as now VYBN Esports being in the deficit from their defense half, going into the attack, really do have to make or break they really are in the make or break situation at this point.
Yep, you were mentioning gym and bedroom, and that is where Runshark is going to start things off on their defensive round. It's very different, especially from what we've seen from VYBN, and they didn't go to gym and bedroom at all. So we'll see what Runshark has in store for us. Yeah, Runshark is kind of looking scary, Justin. They have been swift on their attacks, and that has proved it's just overwhelmed VYBN so far. So either VYBN needs to do the same on their attack, or they can just play their game, and hopefully this time they've got more rounds to work with than before. So hopefully they can make that comeback this time around.
Indeed, they'll have to try and make the comeback if they want to keep themselves in this game. There are disadvantaged as map-wise, as they Runshark White did win the first map, but also in this matchup there are disadvantages as well, with now Runshark having a 4-2 lead for them, almost taking his teammate out there. Delphox has to watch out for that with the shotgun, but Nevik does run past, or actually Vlad on that Jaeger does run past freely. But now the attackers here trying to take control of Garage and CCTV. We do see them have the 2 hard breaches. They do have the Thermite and the Ace to work with, so they can really open up that Jacuzzi wall and gain control of CCTV and Red. But that I'm not sure where. Oh, he opened the CCTV breach, and Wicked gets the first pick from him. I'm not sure where that was from. Actually, to be honest, maybe it was somebody flanking, but that's Vlad off of the board there for the round. And now bring it to VYBN's lead. Speaking of lead, Blackstone answers back and gets one for himself. Gets the refrag onto Wicked, now leaving it in a 4 versus 4 situation with 2 minutes left on the clock. So a lot of action right at the beginning of the round, but now we do see this congestion from this logistics as there's all 3 players playing in that area as Kiev tries to open these castle barricades to put pressure on these defenders.
They're gonna need to deal with that mirror in logistics, but the Sledge finally did his job at least, and he's eliminated by Nivik, and that's leaving the Ash, the Ace, and Thermite to finish up the work. They do have some sort of control in CCTV and Cash, but there's a lot of well-positioned defenders from Runshark's side of things, especially in Logi. So they're going to have to at least flush somebody out of there if they want more map control, because without that, they won't be able to push into sight, and that'll make things even harder. But Kixie does push in and gets a kill onto Delphox. So that means the Logi player is out of the board and out of position. Now, that's good news for them because they have more to work with. They can have a crossfire onto one of the players, especially that guy in a bedroom, which is the one that they have information on, and that's why Kixie is jumping in. What are those Wamais? Those Wamais were to deter any flushing or grenades coming in from the hatch. Right now, Kixie is in a good position to cut anyone off trying to rotate, and the other 2 players are in position to make and execute happen. The castle door's going to stop it. Why are you ripping the castle door down? And as he does that, he gets eliminated, and that is a 2v2. But now it's done to a 2v1 in favor of Kixie and VYBN. Kixie finishes it off for VYBN and gets another round for them. They're catching up on the scoreboard. That was very well played. They were in a bad position, but they made a lemonade out of lemons, and it worked out for VYBN.
Good reference there from your side, but they did indeed make lemonade out of lemons, as they were disadvantaged in that round, and then just coming back there, Kixie just showing up there, just really proving his fragging potential on that Ash, and just making, a menace from his side onto Runshark in that round, and really just proving his worth, because in that round it wasn't in favor of VYBN. They did get the opening pick, but there was a refrag, and then they were disadvantaged as there was another pick that came out from Nivik onto Kiev. So from them to come back from that disadvantage and then even it out, and then from there take it to their advantage. I'm not sure what that bandit was doing, ripping down that castle barricade. It was a bit of a misplay from him. I believe if he maybe prepped it with a knife. If you don't know, you can prep the castle barricades by hitting it or punching it 11 times, and then the 12th time will break the castle barricade. He didn't do that. He just decided to rip it down. So it's a bit unfortunate from his side, because I believe if he was just able to open it and then peek with the player playing in Chim there underneath the window, they would have been able to get that pick. But nonetheless, well done from VYBN to really bring themselves back into the game and win their very first attacking round.
Yeah. So just a note of the importance of what Justin has mentioned, the difference between ripping a castle door down and mailing it open is that you can pull out your gun way faster than you were if you're ripping it down. So just take note of that. But now they've gone to a church and arsenal. So we'll see what the assault is from VYBN, and we'll see what the defense is from Runshark. It doesn't seem like they have a heavy roam, but they are quite spread out in the bottom floor. So they'll be able to make something happen in their defense. Right now, VYBN hasn't fully droned out the top floor. As you see, they are taking a couple of pop shots into a jacuzzi because they're not sure if anybody is there or not. Tipiel took a little bit of damage from somebody, but Vlad just runs up and swings onto Tipiel and finishes him off, and that is a hard breacher taken off the board. That is very dangerous, but not much harm done as Wasteful is still on the Thermite. What a shot from Wicked from the bars.
Yeah, well done there from Wicked. I believe Nivik was in a very terrible position there. He got stuck just below the ladder and he couldn't move out. So Wicked just taking advantage of that and bringing back to an even scoreline in this round, as they do have a minute 30, but there are one hard breach down. Wasteful does still have two thermite charges from exothermics from him, but he has to get either two hatches or get a hatch and that church wall. So it's just up to, you know, which utility will they want most. I believe that main hatch will be a much better pick for them, as now they're choosing to get that moto hatch as well. So it does look like they will try and execute for a kitchen hatch and a moto push.
Yep, kitchen hash and moto push it is. He still has one exothermic charge, which I believe he's going to be using it either in church. Not sure if he's rotated onto there. If he hasn't, then that's probably what they need to do, because there's only 53 seconds left, and I think they have way more presence down in moto than anywhere else. So he is going to be jumping down and probably opening up that kitchen hatch. And the ash wall is reinforced, so there's not going to be any contention from Runshark as the wall is getting open. This is good news for VYBN right now. They have access into sight, but Greedy answers back with a kill on to Kixie, and Wasteful refrags onto Greedy, so they have an opportunity here to make something happen in terms of an execute. But there's still a pulse on the board with no C4 though. But Sir Delphox is on the cameras on the evil eye. I didn't see exactly where some of them were placed, but something is happening right now. 11 seconds left. Something has to happen. KWR eliminating Delphox, and Wicked getting a pick onto Blackstone. Vlad answering back, but KWR ending the round and giving VYBN a round on this affair.
Well done there from VYBN to bring that round back. I believe it was an even scoreline, and then they got that first initial pick as they tried to execute the thermite charge not actually being used for that kitchen hatch as I spoke. It was used for the church wall. So very good utility placement there from Wasteful to open up that wall, and they got a couple picks from them. They were trying to go for that execute, and eventually the kills just funneled through to getting added onto the board. There was a refrag there from Vlad, but then Vlad being in a 1v2 situation, not able to really bring it back from there, and just VYBN evening out the scoreline, bringing it to a 4-all at the moment. So it's a very, very close game, much more closer than the previous matchup. So VYBN really know what they're doing on Clubhouse. So we'll have to see if they can carry on going, or if Runshark will now be able to adapt to those mistakes in the previous round on their church and Arsenal defense as they do go back to that area.
Don't hate me, but VYBN is finally finding their vibe, and they are catching up on the scoreboard. I know I'm going to get roasted so much for that, but I had to get it out. But anyway, they are catching up on the scoreboard as they even things out, and it's looking much better for them this time around. So, seeing that they're finally waking up, I'm sure Runshark is going to be very scared at this point, or they might not be. They might just go, oh, well, they got a couple of rounds in. We'll just get a couple of rounds back. And it's looking like an attacker-sided map so far. I always thought it was defender-sided, but seeing these two teams be so strong with the attacks, it's working out for both of them on the attack side. But Runshark needs to be very cautious right now because VYBN has woken up on attack.
Indeed they have, but now VYBN do have another attacking round to come through as they are trying to take control of this top floor bedroom area. They will not be pushing from that CCTV cache. Oh, sorry, I'm mistaken. Kixie is playing in that CCTV area as they are trying to do a full map, a top floor map control take for them. I believe it's because of those roamers coming out there from Runshark, but so far this round there's nothing of that caliber. There is no roamers on the board for them, but everybody is playing on site, just holding those angles. And well, it is working in favor of Runshark because at the moment it looks like VYBN might think that there is a roamer, so they're playing a bit of a mental game. So VYBN's wasting a lot of time trying to clear it out, whereas now Runshark just have to sit and wait patiently for that execute to come through and maybe get a pick or two, as now we do see that vertical control coming out here, but an impact grenade coming out there. I'm not sure who it was from. I believe it was from the Ash, as now that wall is open. There is somebody playing on that wall, but he will not get picked out for the time being, as a C4 does come swinging through, but he does take off a lot of HP from Kixie, leaving him to just about 55 HP in the round. So it's going to be a bit difficult for him to peek into those angles, as well as Wicked being just under 75 HP now as well.
Yep, Runshark chipping away onto Wicked and Kixie right now. So they are on dangerous territory. Just a couple of more bullets will finish them off, but it's not deterring Wicked at all as he gets a pick onto Nivik, proving that if you're going to kill somebody, do it right now while you still have the chance, because if you allow them to live longer, then it's going to bite you in the butt. Right now, it seems like an assault is going to be coming onto that kitchen wall as Xavier eliminates Greedy. And that is the smoke off the board. A very important operator to lose, especially in this time around when there's 30 seconds left. You could use those toxic babes, but they don't have any of that. Do they have C4s? And no, the answer is no. But right now, an execute is about to happen, Justin.
That thermite charge there getting impact tricked from the defenders of Runshark, but there's 3 of these players playing in this motor area, and this older just gonna go and just start spraying as they try to make it execute. There's the first pick for Runshark and another one coming out from Delphox, but there's a trade and 2 picks coming out from Delphox, leaving it in a 2 versus 1 situation as Tierpio has to find 2 of them, but the time is not in his favor as the 2 defenders just run away and waste that time and just wait for him to really just not able to clutch that out in the end there, as Runshark now takes the round to a 5-4 victory, just a lead for them, as it is a very one-on-one game at this moment. It's like answering back constantly, oh no you, no you, no you, to the rounds. But we do see Runshark going to CCTV and Cash, and they are bringing that mirror. I do believe it is going to be 6 picked to the castle, so that's an interesting pick for them. Not really common on CCTV and Cash, but it's really going to put a lot of pressure on those defenders, as now they have to really rely on that sledge and that Ash to try and get rid of that castle barricades with their soft breach potential.
Yep, especially in support with the mute, maybe it might slow down VYBN. So we'll see what kind of hold they're gonna have right now. So Runshark are back in the momentum. We'll see, VYBN has to answer back. Right now, it's looking like Blackstone is gonna be roaming around bar and possibly dining side of things. So he's just cutting off some angles, just slow down VYBN from just rushing in, or at least advancing in quick pace. So it will take a couple of seconds off of them because they're gonna have to expand their utility and bring in those castle doors down.
Very interesting setup coming out from Runshark Wide. I've never seen this before. I'm not actually too sure. I believe they're trying to hold bar and really just put pressure, like you said, with those castle barricades, hold blue as well. So they've extended from holding a top floor and holding garage to holding bar as well, where, you know, now the defenders just have to, you know, clear out that as well. So in the end, it's just wasting so much utility from VYBN. And, you know, look at these 2 players playing here. They were safe from this main door because of the castle barricade. They're also safe from that bar pool table area, as there's a castle barricade there as well. So a very, very interesting strat from Runshark, and it looks like it might pay off if they play their cards correctly. But needless to say, VYBN now just have to clear out those defenders, maybe decide to take a top floor control, because there is no C4s below. I believe it is only Greedy on that mute that has a C4, so he's going to be the only one really putting pressure from C4s in lounge. But it does look like VYBN will choose to try and clear them out, as 3 players are being put to the test.
Okay, you see now there's a bit of a flaw in that strat, and that flaw is found out by the sledge of the KWR right now as he opens a bit of that bar area, forcing the Jaeger to run and flee the site. But he did waste a little bit of time, and they wasted a little bit of utility, or a little bit, I mean a sledgehammer. He has plenty of it, but now they're going to have to open those castle doors, which he is there, so thank God he's alive to do that. Otherwise, they were going to have to waste some Ashes or Zophias. But now they're going to be pushing onto blue or mud or dining side of things, and Greedy's going to get a pick onto Kixie and eliminating the Ash. I think she still had most of her utility. down, so not much use there. An attack is being done onto the CCTV window, and Wasteful is going to be work. Only now they're going to be deciding to open the CCTV wall, which is going to be a bit of a problem as Nivik swings onto KWR and eliminates him, but Wicked does get a pick onto Delphox, but Greedy answers back with a kill of his own, and that wall is still not open. That's a massive problem for VYBN right now.
There comes another pick from VYBN side as TRPL picks off Newik, now leaving in a 2v2 situation. The two hard breachers versus the iconic duo, the Castle and the Mute together, and they're actually brothers. So the two brothers on Runshark White leaving it up to the test to clutch this one out for their team if they want to bring it to match point. Otherwise, Wasteful and TRPL really do have to try and find these last two players. They are being contested from that green box, and now they're trying to open this construction wall to put pressure from there. The barbed wire is going to be in the way here, but Blackstone gets the first pick, and there's a trade off from Wasteful, but Greedy just playing passively behind that green box, just waiting for the angle to be available and then peeking out and getting the final pick for his team and taking it to match point. So really well done there from Runshark White to bring themselves to match point and map point as well.
Yep, they are on the way to that match point, and this is looking very scary for VYBN Esports right now. They have to catch up. They have to get 2 rounds on the board and able to equalize this. They were very close. It came down to a 2v2, but the players of Runshark approved a bit too much for them. Right now, they're going to gym and bedroom, so we'll see what kind of a hold they'll have there. I believe they're going to be doing a similar thing as they did. I think it was on the first round, but that round went to VYBN, so maybe VYBN is a little comfortable in attacking at this site. If they find out exactly what site it is, they might be happy about that. But if Runshark has made some adjustments to this, they spoke about it in the mid-round or the between choosing characters, then they'll have some necessary points to change, and yeah, we'll see what the result of that will be.
First adaptation that I saw is actually bringing an extra reinforcement onto gym. So they put one of those reinforcements there so that the player in bedroom can play a lot safer. There won't be an easy angle from gym all the way into there from the wall if, the Ash opens it up, or if it just gets wallbanged through. So it's a good adaptation from them there, just to rotate some utility and rotate some reinforcements where they felt pressure in the previous time that they did hold gym and bedroom. So now, however, for VYBN, now they have to worry about that as they are trying to attack it once again. But it does look like the Thermite is going to try and go for this Jacuzzi wall, and Kixie and Wicked on the Ash and Sophia are going to try and take control of the CCTV cache area once again. Will it be the same outcome as previously, or will VYBN be able to change it up and bring this one into their favor?
Well, I believe VYBN did win gym and bedroom, so we'll see. Right now, it's not looking good for VYBN as the Sophia is down, but Blackstone is unable to finish her off. And Kixie gets a pick onto Blackstone, and he will be able to raise his teammates. C4 does get launched, but doesn't find anyone at all. That's nowhere near any of them. Wicked is on low HP. But right now, they are able to rotate onto Cash Room and take control of Cash Room, I believe that will be.
There's C4 coming out there, picking off Tierpil, not Wicked. I don't know how that didn't happen, but Kixie answers back and he gets 2 for himself. But there's a pick off from Red Stairs as Newik makes a flank there. There is another pick from Delphox as well, and Newik coming out on top in that gunfight between Kiever. So now leaving it in a 1 versus 2 situation, all up to Wasteful to clutch out this round and keep his team in the game. He does have full HP, whereas Newik is low on HP, and so is Delphox. Delphox is 70 HP, so still does have quite a lot to work with, but this prone player here just sitting on in gym, and now there's a swing from the older wall. Wasteful will be able to come up on top here, as now Delphox still unaware of his location as Flash is coming through. He's just going to sit and wait patiently. There's a minute left on the clock. Wasteful really trying to come for this execute, but there's angles being watched onto him. There is angles from Master or from Jim side. Will he know of the location of this defender? That reinforcement just helping support him now, as he won't be able to spot out the play. He does spot him out eventually, but the swing coming out here from Delphox, will he be able to spot him out? Just some pre-fires there, and he does come up on top as Wasteful wins that gunfight now, leaving it in a 1v1 situation, all up to Newick to try and clutch this out and bring it up. But will Wasteful come up on top? He does have the HP advantage, he does know the location of this defender, but the pressure just coming through there. Newick on the floor, just prone on the floor, just watching the angles, and he makes just a perfect play there for his team, and he wastes Wasteful in that round, bringing his team to another 7-4 map victory and bringing them to a 2-0 victory. That's unfortunately the end for VYBN Esports in the tournament, and now Runshark White will proceed through to play against OG in the lower bracket finals.
Congratulations to Runshark on that match. They have proven themselves to be very deadly, especially on attack, and it was way too much for VYBN. VYBN did make a valiant effort. They were catching up at some point. They were falling behind in the beginning, and I think it's just those early rounds that they lost that was a bit of a detriment to their game, Justin. And in the end, they just couldn't catch up. There were way too many rounds for them to catch up. But on top of that, on this map, right, they had a bit more of a chance and they had more rounds in. They equalized it a couple of times, but it's just Runshark wasn't having it at all.
Indeed, and it looks like VYBN's just all-out focus and mentality wasn't really in the play to bring themselves all the way to the final step. They just carried on making small little mistakes which ended up putting a lot of pressure on them. It really did impact their gameplay in the end. They're just not being able to win out the rounds, and slowly but surely it does start eating onto your mentality, and then you start to lose a bit of focus, and then you know, in a point you start to give up. So it did look like that near to the end, but VYBN really did fight to the end. Wasteful there, leaving himself in a 1v2 situation where he had to clutch. He did get one pick, almost getting the final there to keep his team in play, but unfortunately Newick just coming up on top there and just bringing the victory out for Runshark White. So really well played to them. They really did play well in the matchup, in both maps actually, ending it in 7-4, 7-4. So for VYBN's case, it's just back to the drawing board. They really just have to go sit back and just, you know, work on the mistakes from this game, and then, you know, come back stronger, because in the end practice makes perfect, and it looks like Runshark really did have that practice in this matchup.
Yeah. And so to everyone at home, hope that was a beautiful game. We saw victories, we saw upsets, we saw beautiful rounds, quad kills, double kills, C4 kills, especially in that previous round. You wanted it and you got it beautifully wrapped up. And that will be it from me and Justin. And we will see you guys next week with some more matches. It is getting closer to the end this weekend. Next weekend is the finals weekend. So yeah, it's getting closer to the end, and we'll see who's going to be taking it. Hopefully it is the team of your choice. But for now, from me and Justin, it's ciao.
One thing quickly before we do end it off there, sorry. Reminding you of the giveaways. So if you have forgotten, there are giveaways running on the Twitter. So you guys can still guess until after Friday, actually, when the matchup, I believe it will end before the matchup between Bravado and ATK. So you guys, oh, is it for grand? Okay, grand final. Sorry, my bad. Just got confirmation. So you guys can still enter in that giveaway to guess who will win the grand finals and who will be the victors of this tournament. If you guess correctly, you will be entered into a giveaway where you stand a chance to win a mouse pad and a shirt. So those are two really good prizes. As well, there's a 48-hour giveaway which is being hosted currently. If you guess what Valkyrie's real name is. If you guess correctly, let us know in the comment section on the Twitter page. It is World League ESP on Twitter, and you guys will also stand a chance to be entered into that giveaway.
Full name, don't Google it. Full name, don't Google it. If you Google it, you cheated. And I hope you feel bad for yourself if you cheated by Googling.
Speaking of that, this is William and Justin, and we will see you guys next weekend.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.